1 video a month. Yeah, that sounds like a good sort of routine from now on, / every 2 months. Hi guys, Freaky Fish Guy here with another video for you today. So, story time. I went to a locals about a month and a half ago, probably about over a month ago. I can't remember what it was, but I was playing Marine Sets, there you go. It was literally the last video, like that sort of time frame. And this deck had just come out, the Chimera branded stuff. And I really, really liked it. I liked the way it looked, I liked the way it played. I bought the entire core at that locals. I already had the branded stuff, but I bought the Chimera stuff at that locals, thinking, oh, this is a really fun deck to play. And then I didn't play Yugioh for a month. In Southampton, there's 2 locals. One of them unfortunately closed down. The other one's on a Sunday. I work predominantly every odd Sunday, so I have like a week on, week off. The problem I then have is I have other life commitments, so I can never really go to locals. The Thursday night one I could go to most of the time. The Sunday one I can only go to sometimes. So basically, I stopped playing Yugioh for a month. And what this is a lesson in skill fade. Because what happened was I then put a message in a group chat like, oh, is locals on tomorrow after a month of not playing? And I got a response going, it's the regionals tomorrow. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's the regionals, I'll just go to the regionals. I haven't played Yugioh in a month, I can go to regionals. I played this deck, I never played this deck before in an actual setting. I did a few test hands, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get the idea. I went to the regionals, I flopped hard. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing with this deck the first couple of rounds. I was just doing like the simple lines. I messed up a few combos. Depending on like where my opponent hand trapped, it's like, oh, okay, so I'll just do this now, but that was non-optimal. I lost to like things I didn't know were relevant. So Rescue Ace apparently is now relevant. I didn't realize that. They gave me an Ibley twice. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So yeah, so the regionals didn't do very well at all. But from that regionals, I took a lesson and I really did a little bit of research. I really went in hard on how I'm actually going to optimize this build of my deck. So I changed the edge deck, I changed the main deck, Yesterday was my store OTS, so it's like a little mini tournament where if you make top 4, you get Euros invite. And I came third. It was a 5-round event. I came third. I went X1. I lost the first round against Manadium, of all things, because we drew double Baphomet, because that always happens apparently. But other than that, I really like this build of the deck. Shout out, by the way, to Fingers Crossed. He came third. I believe he came third at the regionals playing this deck. So big well done to him. He did it that I couldn't that day. But yesterday I had a lot of fun playing this, and I really, really quickly picked up how to actually do the combos now. They're really simple combos, but when you get interrupted, it's like, right, now what do I do? So what we'll do is we'll fly through the deck profile. Any questions, feel free to leave in the comments below. If you're still watching my channel, it has been like 2 months since I've uploaded. I've kind of like stepped back from the Yugioh scene, playing a lot more Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and stuff, which I'm very much enjoying. I'm doing tournaments for that and doing quite well. Not that you guys want to know about that. Anyway, main deck. You have to excuse the stark lighting. We are now in the autumn fall period, and it's actually starting to rain right now. It's a very dingy day today, so the lighting in my room is supplied by my little lamp over there. Lovely main deck. 42 cards, because that's my magic number apparently. Don't know if you guys can hear that. It's now raining very hard. So free Cornfield. This is your sort of engine starter. You discard it to get the Sword Knight, which you play 3 of. This card's cracked. Again, they're all illusion type, which means they can't be destroyed by battle, which is very, very cool. But they can't destroy things by battle. So a little drawback. So basically there's no battle shenanigans going on. This one is tribute as quick effect to summon a basically a Baphomet from deck to get your engine on the Ray. Something that happened a lot was my opponents would ash this, which kind of really does hurt actually. It does mean your branded fusion can go off depending on which one you do first. Normally I do the branded fusion first, depending on what I have in my hand. If I have these in my hand, then I'm not as worried about branded fusioning first, because branded fusion can get you to this, so it's a bit of a weird path. But yeah, people were ashing this and it did really hurt a lot, surprisingly. I didn't think it would, but it does. Free Gazelle. This is the other sort of like Gazelle retrain along with Baphomet. On some you just add a Chimera Fusion or your level 5 Fiend, which is Baphomet basically. When it's used as fusion material, you get to search one of the illusions. So you search the Quattle, then get you this. You want these engraved. I forgot to really say about this. You want these engraved because they are a negate for something. No, not negate and destroy, just a negate. This can go from field as well though. So this is if they target your card, you can negate if, as long as you have the Chimera fusion on board. This is a monster negate, but only for what they control, which is really important. Other stuff, obviously you have the 2 Baphomet. This is like one of the biggest choke points in their deck. I got impermed on this a few times. I wasn't playing imperm. I am playing cross out. I wasn't playing imperm. I was going to, but then I decided not to, and I really regret it. Again, I still came third, but if I was playing imperm, maybe I would have actually won the Manadium matchup. But yeah, imperm on this really hurts. If this is used as fusion material, you can reborn a illusion from your grave. The cool thing about this is it works off Spolly. So at one point, my opponent spollied me using this and my fusion to make a Dragus Tapalia. It does trigger this. It's just if it's used as fusion material. So then I got to bring back Sword Knight and continue my plays, which was nice. Really weird thing while we're here about this engine is it is popped off in popularity. I know we've just had a ban list, so the format is kind of like not real, but at this OTS there were 6 to 7 people playing this. Only out of 17. It was a really low OTS. For some reason people didn't want to go, probably because they just had regionals a week before. But yeah, 6 to 7 people playing this. That's a big number. So there's loads of mirror matches going on. But yeah, it was really popped off in popularity, the runic version and a branded version. For me, it's the branded version. So 2 Albaz, 1 Aluba, and 1 Kit. I'm playing the Aluba for shenanigans, which we'll see later on. Albaz is pretty much simple. Aluba you summon normally off the opening. You don't want to normal summon it because you want your normal summon to be the Sword Knight. Kit is there to search off of Baphomet. While you have Rune on board, you can special it and get branded in white and then make a Mirror Jade that way. The Aluba, I will be very honest with you, it's basically another starter and opening, but it's also using enough branded fusion to make Masquerade if you're going into time. Not that it's not like I'm slow playing, but people need to be aware of time. You need to have a game plan for time. So if I'm looking at a clock and there's like, all right, we're going into game 3, there's 4 minutes left, I'm going to make a Masquerade just because I want to ensure that win. Other engines, we're playing the Frightful package, so 2 Edge and Shame. At the regionals, I wasn't playing this. Afterwards, I was like, I need more gas, so I put this in, and it works so good, honestly. The fact that you can get poly engraved to then protect your Guardian Chimera from being targeted is insanely good against certain things, especially at Runic, so this is really nice to add in. Obviously, if it's sent to the grave from field, or is it from hand? I don't know. Sent from the hand or field to the grave, you can add a Frightful card. You can't do this with branded fusion, but you can do it with the other fusion cards, which is quite nice, including discarding it for Spolly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if this is sent from hand to field. So yeah, that's quite nice. Hand traps. At the regionals, I was playing a lot of hand traps. I really cut them down for this one to add in more gas stuff, which was really nice. I was playing 3 of this, 3 of this, 2 Imperm, 2 Veiler, I think I was. Again, didn't really know what the format was. Not played Yugioh for a month. Kind of shows how the skilled fate comes in. So that all came out. So instead we are playing 3 Ash, 3 Droll, and that's all we're playing. Droll I'm not even sure on at the moment either. I like it over Nibiru because it means that I don't have to, my opponent doesn't have to play into Nibiru. As in, there were times when I was making 4 summons and my opponent was like, oh, I was like, they show me Nibiru, like, why can't you summon 1 more? After the game, I was like, well, I just, didn't want to. Whereas Droll is a bit more likely they're going to play into it. The problem with Droll is if you Droll their turn, you can't Guardian Chimera. So again, I'm 50-50 on if I like it or not. It's really good against some matchups, so it's absolutely terrible when it's like, why are you here? So it's iffy. Ash is always really nice. The other good things about these though is because I'm playing cross out, they are cross out targets. So a few times I did manage to cross out Ash and Droll, because Droll does really hurt this deck, I won't lie. You go Quattle, discard, search Sword Knight, they Droll you, you're like, cool, now what? Spells. 3 Brain Dead Fusion. This whole deck, by the way, is still format legal for next week, so, or next month, I guess, because of the ban list. So this is really nice. Branded Fusion is really, really cool. 2 opening. I'm not playing 3 because 1, I don't actually own 3, and 2, I don't want to see it in multiples. It's just there to get Brand Fusion in case you haven't like opened it already. But your Chimera stuff is pretty good at standing on its own until you draw a Brand Fusion off like a Guardian Chimera or something like that. Yeah, branded opening's really nice. It gets you your branded engine. Branded in white, you search off of the Spriggan's kit. Once you resolve Branded Fusion, it's just an additional fusion summon. Sometimes you do hard open it and it's a little bit sucky. You can get Albaz in the grave for a few methods. Free Chimera, best card in the deck. And at times I was siding one out. So I'm playing free because I want to see it a lot, but in some situations against certain matchups, I'm just siding one out. You have like 12 ways to get to it. So who cares if you don't have 3? It does really help in the grind game if they're like DD crowing them out your grave. That happened a few times to me to have 3, but otherwise I've done fine with 2. So it's up to you if you want to take one out. 2 patchwork, because again it gets you your engine going. It's also really nice even if you don't have things to search, you just search it for a discard fodder for like Lubellion or something. 2 poly, again, it's a really nice Guardian Chimera. There's a few times I actually polyed for normal Chimera. So I would have Baphomet on board and I'd have Gazelle in hand. And they would imperm my Baphomet. And it's like, okay then, we'll poly, we'll make Chimera the old-fashioned way and like reset up my engine, which is really nice. 3 Spolly, again I'm main decking Spolly because I'm a war criminal. This event specifically, it popped off so much because again there was like 6-7 people playing Chimera stuff. I took out Starving Venom. Like I said, I reshaped the whole extra deck. This event I didn't play Starving Venom. The last one I did came up a few times against like Dragon Link. I was like, I really wish I had Spolly at this point, but we move. And then finally 3 cross out just because I want my branded stuff to resolve. And again, like an ash on the Sword Knight actually really hurts. So maybe take out 1 Chimera Fusion for an imperm just to make sure you don't get imperm and Baphomet. But otherwise I'm really happy with how the main deck worked. Extra deck. We're playing Chimera, so playing Chimera. Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. The hand rip on this, I always forget. As in, like, I say, yeah, I'll hand rip you in end phase, and it gets to end phase. I'm like, end phase, I've got something to do. Oh, yeah, hand rip. So, I really need to try and think of a way of remembering to Chimera hand rip. But otherwise, this card's amazing. It's just really cool how this engine all comes together in the sense that you need this on board to start doing your negate stuff. But then just making this gives you so much advantage where you get a search, you get a reborn, and you get this back as well. So even though this isn't an amazingly good monster standalone, the whole engine revolves around this one card. So if you have this card on board, it's so nice. I've been trying to think of different lines and stuff where I can insulate my place by having this on board. I can make a Guardian Chimera with this on board. It's like, all right, I could just use this for the Guardian Chimera, but I need to start thinking of other ways to do this. So I really like this. Speaking of Guardian Chimera, we're playing 2. Some people are playing 1 due to budget or space. I'm fine with playing 1, to be fair. I like playing 2 because it does give me that security of, okay, I have multiple ways of Guardian Chimera by opponent. So that's really nice. Obviously, we're not playing like Diabolos isn't in the format anymore, so you don't have to play 2. But I've been playing 2 because I feel like it is the better ratio in my opinion. As the person who scrubbed out of regionals, you should totally listen to my opinion. The other Chimera card, we're playing the Illusion Beast. Some people aren't playing this. I am, just because it can steal you wins quite literally out of nowhere. You have this on board. You're like, right, we'll have Chimera Fusion into this with like Coatl and Sword Knight in hand. It can attack 3 times and it counts as this for the negates. So why wouldn't you? It's also an illusion, so it can't be destroyed by battles. They can't run over it, which is quite nice. That's the only problem with Chimera. It's only 21. They can like beat over it with just like a Fenrir and banish something, which is a little bit annoying at times. So 1 Fenrir can out your entire board. But yeah, this is really nice. I like this. I have seen some people spolly it as well, because obviously, like I said, there were 6 people playing it. So like their end board would be the Chimera and the Sword Knight, and the first thing you do is go spolly your 2 things away. I didn't get to do that, unfortunately. I didn't play a mirror match with Spolly in my hand, but it would have been nice to do that. Brand stuff, Lubellion, Albion, Alba Lenitus. I didn't play this at the regionals. I played it today just because I thought people might still be playing Dragon Link, and it came up technically. It was a real friendly game, but it did come up, so I like the Albalenators. You know, just set Albaz, fuse the board away. Mirror Jade, because it's Mirror Jade. This does trigger Spolly. Rinbrum, this is kind of your engine starter with Brand of Fusion. So you go Brand of Fusion, send Gazelle and Albaz to make this. Gazelle then triggers to add Quail. Quail then adds you Sword Knight into Berthamet. Berthamet add Gazelle, Chimera Fusion, and then you've made your Chimera line set up just off one Brand of Fusion. So that's really, really nice. The Grave effect as well is really, really important, where you can banish it or Albaz to summon it. So that is really, really cool. One Masquerade. Honestly, this card is cracked. I don't know why I like this card. It just insulates you winning, especially against Runic, where they don't have a battle phase. You're like, okay, I'm going to start just burning you. You need to either stop playing Runic cards, or you need to start playing really quickly, which often leads to non-optimal decisions, which is really, really nice. You can make this card with a Chimera Fusion as well, because it's just a Desperate Monster and a Light or Dark. What's his name? Berthamet is a Dark, and he is a Fiend, so you can use Chimera Fusion plus Aluba, get summon off opening into this, which has actually happened a few times, and that means you can Lubello into Mirror Jade. Magnum, I wasn't again playing this at the regionals. I added this in. So I cut a few cards. I think I cut one more Mirror Jade and a Albion. And a Starving Venom. I can't remember what card. Maybe I didn't cut the Albion, the second Albion. I can't remember. I shaped loads of things around in a week. This is really nice. It just gives you more card draw and also some spot removal, which is really nice, and it can be used with Chimera Fusion. Dragons to Palia, mainly a Spolly target for me. Garura, again, Spolly target, and Mud Dragon of the Swamp for more Spolly shenanigans. This deck hard dies to the Ibley Lock from Rescue Ace, which I played against twice at the regionals, and it was my first time playing against that, and it really hurt. I did play against Rescue Ace at this event, but thankfully he didn't Ibley Lock me, which is quite nice. I did evenly for him for 7 though, so I feel bad about that. Speaking of evenly, the side deck, 3 DD Crow, again for this matchup, but also for things like the Ibley Lock that came in for this. It does hurt Dragon Link. I'm not playing Bestials because I'd like to hit spells and traps of this at time to time. A couple of rogue decks you can also hit. 3 evenly matched, the best blind second card. Just wipe your board, especially against a Rescue Ace. Like, having no interruptions on their side, no judgment, anything like that, really hurts them. It also does hurt Chimera, because they don't have any inherent negates on their engine. So this is really nice. 2 Cyclone, just the last 2 slots I had, I was like, oh, I'll just play Cyclone just to like bip off their stuff. 3D barrier. At the regionals, this was free anti-spell. I don't know why I did that. I was kind of in the mindset of where I used to play combo decks. Like, I'll just chuck in free anti-spell, stops Dark Ruler, stops Thrust, stops things like that. That'd be really, really nice. And then I realized, wait, I'm a fusion deck. I need to resolve fusion spells, so that really hurt. So for this event, it went into 3D barrier, and I didn't use it once. I think I sided it in once, but then I didn't ever flip it once. So this can be whatever you want it to be in theory. 3 Radiant Kaiju. It's a Fiend Kaiju, so it's really important you can Kaiju your opponent's stuff, like the Pearly stuff, or like the odd Marine says play at your locals. Shout out to Harry. But because it's a Fiend, you can use it for your stuff if you're needing to fusion with it. And then last one Wangu. I don't know when this would go in. I've not learnt what matchup that needs to be in yet. I was thinking maybe Sprite or Flu, which makes sense, but I haven't played against those. Like, no one at my locals is playing Sprite or Flu apart from one guy, Tim, who plays both. But yeah, that's Wangu. You can search it with Berthamet, and then you can reborn it with the Chimera. So the idea is that you either dump it into Grave to fusion summon, or you have it in your hand to Chimera Fusion into Guardian Chimera, and then with the Chimera in Grave you summon it back. That's what I believe the idea is. I haven't done it yet because I haven't needed to. But yeah, anyway guys, that was my branded Chimera deck profile. Any questions, again, please feel free to leave below. I'm not the expert on this deck. I'm just a guy kind of just bimbling his way through Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment. I have got a Euros invite now from this event. I didn't go to the last Euros I had invite to, and I don't think I went to no, I didn't go to the one before that. So I'm kind of just getting these Euros invites and then never going. So maybe this time will be the time I go, which is ironic because this is the least effort I've put into Yugioh in a very long time. Anyway, guys, I will see you in another 2 months' time with a Mermail, Ice Jade, Ice Barrier deck profile. Who knows? Anyway, guys, goodbye.